Please remain standing for the national anthem, which was pre-recorded by the University of Arkansas Schola Cantorum, directed by Dr. Stephen E. Caldwell of the Department of Music.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare amongst the singing air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
You may be seated. Good afternoon to all. Members of the Board of Trustees, honored guests, graduates, parents, and friends of graduates, welcome to our Fall 2021 Commencement. We are here to honor individuals who have completed the requirements for degrees conferred by this university. This is by far the most satisfying event in the life of the university. Today, we acknowledge the work of our faculty and the achievements of our students who are graduating. Our governing board is comprised of 10 distinguished citizens of Arkansas. I am pleased to introduce two members of the Board of Trustees who are with us today. May I request that you hold your applause until both have been presented. First, Mr. Ted Dickey of Little Rock. Please stand up. And Dr. Ed Fryer of Rogers. Ladies and gentlemen, the University of Arkansas Board of Trustees. We are also honored to have with us Dr. Donald R. Bobbitt, President of the University of Arkansas System, who will bring greetings. Dr. Bobbitt.
Thank you, Chancellor Robinson. I bring you greetings and congratulations on behalf of the entire University of Arkansas System. It's a privilege to be able to participate today in such a meaningful ceremony. I want to offer my special thanks and appreciation to Chancellor Robinson and his administrative team for the successful way he has managed this institution this fall during what were unprecedented times in higher education, and I would suggest in society in general. As someone who has spent his entire career in higher education, commencement ceremonies always serve as an uplifting reminder of the overarching reason why I became an educator. It is you, our soon-to-be graduates, who enrich our campuses, challenge our assumptions, and leave us at commencement to share the gifts of your education with your communities. Thank you to each of you for providing inspiration for us all during these very challenging times. No previous group of graduates has entered the workforce at a more critical time for their profession or under more challenging circumstances brought on by a worldwide pandemic. While the past 18 months have been difficult, perhaps unnerving in terms of the uncertainty we face each day, I choose to look at the situation as being symbolic of the road ahead for you. The path will be filled with many challenges, both big and small, and I'm sure that when these challenges present themselves, you will overcome them. How can I be so sure? Well, this pandemic is now part of your personal history. Even if you and your family avoided the direct physical impact of illness, the psychological stress of almost continuous stream of grim statistics was inescapable. Whether you opened a newspaper, turned on the television, or accessed the internet, the pandemic was omnipresent. As viewed through the lens of the number of tests administered, the number of cases, ventilator use and capacity, the latest infectious agent, and unfortunately, the number of deaths. Your presence here tells me all I need to know about your internal drive, your courage, and your resilience. You simply would not be denied. So on behalf of the board and the U of A system, I want to offer you and others my sincerest thanks. First, as I mentioned, I want to thank you for seeing your education through to this stage under what were clearly unprecedented circumstances. I also want to thank the faculty and staff who had to pivot on a dime roughly a year and a half ago, did so at great cost professionally while performing admirably under these circumstances. And to this administration that worked diligently to keep you and your education front and center in everything they did. I think it's very important to remember that this faculty and staff, like you and countless families across Arkansas and the United States, had to carry out their professional responsibilities while being deeply concerned for their own health and safety, as well as the health and safety of their loved ones. Your perseverance to complete your credential has shown that you choose to select hope and be uplifted by it instead of fear. Our academic communities have proven to be resilient, dynamic, innovative, and compassionate, especially when they face a challenge as overwhelming as this one. It is clear now, many, many things have changed in our lives over the past 18 months, perhaps some of them even permanently. But as you have demonstrated, if you hold fast to your goals, great things can be achieved, even if that means finding alternative ways to live and learn while exploring unexpected new paths. As Tolkien has said, not all who wander are lost. By earning your credential, each of you has not only made a profound impact on yourselves and on your families, but you have advanced the cultural, intellectual, and economic well-being of the state. And so I thank each of you and congratulate you on your achievement. It is my hope that you will take the fundamental lessons of your educational experience with you, utilize those lessons to help you navigate the uncertain road ahead. Instilling these qualities in our graduates ultimately represents the highest ideal of the entire university community. Thank you again for your commitment to yourself, to your family, and to this state. I wish you much success as you leave here to make your mark on society. As President Kennedy remarked almost 60 years ago, you cannot do all the good that the world needs at this time, but the world needs all the good you can do. Good luck and Godspeed, graduates.
Thank you, Dr. Bobbitt. At this time, I'm pleased to introduce several members of the university's administration and faculty. Please hold your applause until all introductions are made. From the University of Arkansas System Division of Agriculture, Mr. Chuck Cover. Dr. Stephen Caldwell, Chief Marshal and bearer of the Mace, Associate Professor, Department of Music. Dr. Terry Martin, Interim Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs. Lieutenant Colonel James Malloy, representing Air Force ROTC. Dr. Patricia Koski, Dean of the Graduate School in International Education. Dr. D.Q. Fields, Dean of Dale Bumpers College of Agricultural, Food, and Life Sciences. Dr. Kim Needy, Dean of the College of Engineering. Dean Margaret McCabe, School of Law. Dr. Matt Waller, Dean of Sam M. Walton College of Business. We're also very fortunate to have with us Ms. Diane Bowles. She will interpret today for persons with hearing impairments. Please join me in recognizing these participants in today's ceremony. Before we begin conferring degrees, I want to share a few thoughts with you. It is indeed an honor for me to address you today, and in fact, when I first realized that the address would fall to me, it made me a bit nostalgic, and I began to think about the many great days we had this semester. I remembered the excitement associated with August 23rd when we returned to classes. We had our first day, and it was like no other first day that I can remember in 20 plus years. The excitement was palatable. You could see it in how students walked and hear it in how they talked. The energy seemed to ooze out of folks as everyone appeared to be so excited just to be back together after more than a year of being limited. This was a great day. Then there was September 10th. That was the day we celebrated the 150th anniversary of the University of Arkansas. The sesquicentennial. It was a hot day that day. We celebrated by having a couple of parties. We started in the morning, we had a few students. By the afternoon, we had a lot of students. And we talked about how great it was, and we remembered that there were only 7 students in the first class at the University of Arkansas, and we had grown to 29,000. And like Drake, we had started from the bottom, but now we were here. That was a great day. And then on the very next day, not only did we commemorate September 11th, 9/11, but we did so by beating Texas. Y'all remember that? That was good. I thought I'd hear from somebody. We shocked the college football world by giving Texas a good old-fashioned Razorback whipping. And I can remember it like it was yesterday. We were beating them down badly in the third quarter. And the chief of police came to me and said, Dr. Robinson, I think the students are going to storm the field. So I went to my boss, Dr. Bobbitt, and I informed him, hey, Doc, I think they're going to storm the field. And he said, well, Charles, let the students have their night. Just try to save the goalpost. And that's what we did. Saved the goalpost, students stormed the field. It was a great day. 2 weeks later, we invaded Arlington, Texas, crossed the Red River, and went and played Texas A&M and beat them too. I mean, we beat them. They were saying, gig 'em. We said, we got you. And that was a great day. But I'm telling you that none of those days were greater than today, December 18th, because on this day, over 2,000 students at the University of Arkansas are graduating with degrees from the university. This is the greatest day that we've had in the semester thus far. It is the goal of every commencement speaker to convey a message that could serve as food for thought for graduates as they move on with the rest of their lives, to deliver something to you that's memorable, and to do it in a timely, succinct fashion. In other words, you want me to say what I'm going to say, but not take too long doing it. I get it. As I pondered, my mind was taken to the very definition of the verb to graduate. So I looked it up and realized that it has two definitions that are somewhat at odds with one another. One definition means to complete a degree, to reach the end of something, to arrive at a destination. The other definition means to move to the next higher step in a process, to continue on a path to something. One suggests an ending, the other a continuation. And this reflection made me think of a little-known term that refers to words with contrasting definitions. The term is contronyms. Contronyms are words in the English language that have definitions that are opposite to one another. Words like apology, a statement of contrition for an action, or a defense of one. Bolt, to secure or to flee. Bound, headed to a destination or restrained from movement. Buckle, to connect or to break or collapse. Cleave, to adhere to or to separate. Clip, to fasten or detach. Consult, to offer advice or to obtain it. Continue, to keep doing an action or to suspend an action. Custom, a common practice or special treatment. Dust, to add fine particles or to remove them. Temper, to soften or to strengthen. And of course, bad, which Michael Jackson let us know in his song could mean no good or so good. What lessons can we learn from an analysis of contronyms? First, there are lots of them. They are very common, and it's because of their ordinariness that we scarcely acknowledge their presence. We take contronyms for granted. We never give contronyms any love. Yet without them, conversations in English would be inherently more limited. The commonness of contronyms is analogous to other aspects of life that are common, yet rarely afforded proper recognition. Things like attending school, doing Google searches, eating at fast food restaurants, even McDonald's, and taking long walks, or even more serious common occurrences like voting or rallying for a cause. We often take these things for granted because they are accessible to us. The COVID crisis gave us a lesson on valuing the common. When we lost the ability to congregate, we developed a deep longing for it. And I witnessed this phenomenon on our very campus. When students returned, they were excited, they felt good. And the lesson here is that we should take inventory of those things which are common. Now, it doesn't mean we need a contronym holiday. I'm not suggesting that. But on occasion, we need to take inventory of the blessings and privileges that we have and demonstrate gratitude for them. Second, despite their ordinariness, contronyms are inherently complicated. Their definitions, although usually simple, exist in such contrast that one can only understand meaning by viewing them in a larger context. The search for context in the deployment of contronyms speaks to the need to utilizing context as a tool for understanding others with different opinions. If we assess context when confronting difference, we are more likely to approach difference with a tolerance that we would not otherwise have. I am a trained historian, that's my real job. in American history. In the current debate about the fundamental realities surrounding the development of this nation and its institutions, there are those who emphasize factors like racism, sexism, and ethnocentrism, while others focus on the embracing of human rights and expansive democracy and economic opportunity. The national debate is often heated, with each side accusing the other of misrepresenting the truth about the American past and character. American history is inundated with racism, but it's also filled with efforts and achievements towards enhancing human rights. Contronyms remind us that there are many issues in life where the answer is not either or, but rather both and. In order to better comprehend why one person or group emphasizes one point or the other, we must understand the context that shapes their paradigm. It does not mean that we will ever agree with the other position, but we will better understand why they have it. The willingness to explore context is an essential element to exercising tolerance. Third, contronyms activate the agency of choosing, particularly for those who initiate their use. Contronyms move us away from the limits of a monolithic perspective to one that recognizes and relishes nuance. As I suggested earlier, life, like contronyms, is flooded with issues and challenges that are best addressed with the ability to view them broadly rather than narrowly. With respect to the agency of choosing, contronyms force us to move from the simple analysis of what something is to the more salient question of which definition will we choose to ground our perspective. Hence, this is a fundamental question that you will have to grapple with as you pursue the next stages of your lives. Which definition will you choose? Now, in my classes, this is usually where I drop the mic. The lecture would end because it's not normally the teacher's job to answer the question for you. That is inherently your responsibility. However, because this is a special occasion, my very first ceremony as interim chancellor, and because the day turned from cloudy to sunny, that made me happy, and we're going to the Outback Bowl, and because, like the rapper Moneybagg Yo, I looked at my watch and I've got time today, I am going to let you know which definition I think that you should choose. In life, it is always better to choose a definition that offers you the best chance of moving forward in constructive and positive ways. Choose a definition that ignites your sense of being, doing, and achieving. Choose the definition that aligns you with a greater purpose, that connects you to a stronger sense of duty, nation, and community. Choose the definition that tears down barriers, builds up dreams, rescues the helpless, and empowers the hopeless. Choose the definition that promotes optimism over despair, love over hate, tolerance over intolerance, unity over disunity. Choose the definition that unlocks your motivation, enhances your inspiration, and instills you with determination when the storms of disappointment are raging. Choose the definition that enables you to look beyond the limitations of today to the bright horizon of a better tomorrow. Choose the definition that educates and elevates, that inspires you to sing with new meaning, "My country, 'tis of thee." A definition that pushes you to further construct this sweet land of liberty. A definition that demands that you join the clarion call to let freedom ring. And when this happens, when we let freedom ring, when we choose the right definition, we will be able to recite with renewed confidence Lincoln's fabulous words, that this nation under God shall have a new birth of freedom, and that the government of the people, by the people, for the people, shall not perish from the earth. Thank you very much. Now I think it's time to begin with the main part of the ceremony. Just a reminder, photographs of the graduates are taken as they receive the diplomas, and proofs will be available online. Students, please return to your seats after crossing the stage and remain seated during the entire ceremony out of respect for and in honor of your fellow students. Now for the main event. We will now confer degrees upon the candidates. Provost Martin.
As we prepare to confer degrees, each dean will present the candidates from his or her college or school. After that is completed, candidates for all degrees will be asked to rise for the conferring of degrees. Dean Pat Koski presents the candidates from the graduate school.
Dr. Martin, the candidates from the graduate school completing the necessary requirements for master's degrees, the educational specialist, the Doctor of Education, the Doctor of Nursing Practice, the Doctor of Occupational Therapy, and the Doctor of Philosophy are recommended by the graduate faculty and presented to you for the conferring of degrees.
Dean Margaret Sova McCabe will present the candidates from the School of Law.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. The candidates completing necessary requirements for the degrees of Masters of Law and the Juris Doctor are recommended by the faculty and presented to you for the conferring of degrees.
Dean D.Q. Fields will present the candidates from the Dale Bumpers College of Agriculture, Food, and Life Sciences.
Provost Martin, the candidates completing the necessary requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Agricultural, Food, and Life Sciences and Bachelor of Science in Human Environmental Sciences are recommended to you for the conferring of degrees by the highest yielding faculty who bring you fashion, food, nutrition, and health, as well as majority of Arkansas's wealth of the Dale Bumpers College of Agricultural, Food, and Life Sciences.
Dean Kim Needy presents the candidates from the College of Engineering.
Provost Martin, the candidates completing necessary requirements for the degrees of the Bachelors of Science in Biological Engineering, Bachelors of Science in Biomedical Engineering, Bachelors of Science in Chemical Engineering, Bachelors of Science in Computer Engineering, Bachelors of Science in Computer Science, Bachelors of Arts in Computer Science, Bachelors of Science in Electrical Engineering, Bachelors of Science in Industrial Engineering, and Bachelors of Science in Mechanical Engineering are recommended by the faculty of the College of Engineering and presented to you for the conferring of degrees.
Dean Matt Waller presents the candidates from the Sam M. Walton College of Business.
Provost Martin, the candidates who have completed all requirements for the degrees of Bachelor of Science in Business Administration and Bachelor of Science in International Business are recommended by the highest ROI and profit-maximizing faculty of the Sam M. Walton College of Business.
Will the candidates for all degrees please rise? Chancellor Robinson, it is my privilege to present these candidates to you. On behalf of the faculty, the deans, and myself, I recommend these degrees be conferred upon them as indicated on their diplomas.
Thank you, Dr. Martin. Upon the recommendation of the faculty and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree indicated on your diploma, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations, graduates. Give yourself a round of applause. You may be seated. We will now begin the recognition of our graduates, beginning with the hooding of our doctoral degree students. Dr. Martin?
Doctoral graduates, will you and your major advisors please rise? Students, please hand your hood to your major advisor and turn your back to him or her. Major advisors, please hood your students. You may now congratulate your student, and would the audience join me in applauding our newest doctoral candidates. You may now take your seats. We will now begin with the recognition of our graduates. First will be our doctoral degree recipients, followed by the specialist degrees, master's degrees, and then our undergraduates by college or school.
Lisa Spadaccini Anderson, escorted by Christian D. Alley. Siadeh Fahime Bani Hashemian, escorted by Hamid Ahmad Nassim. Leslie Colleen Beer, escorted by Billy Hargis. Brittany Danielle Mahaffey Graham, escorted by Billy Hargis.
John Zawaslak.
Hayden Seth Carlton, escorted by David Hutink. Michael Rosario Cervelier, escorted by Paul C. Millett.
S.M. Nahian Al-Sunny, escorted by Shaoqing Frank Liu.
Andrew Gibson, escorted by Manuel Rossetti. Mohammed Mahdi Hajiha, escorted by Shaoqing Frank Liu. Catherine Nicole Hayden, escorted by Ken Korth. Joseph Zoltan Hiltz, escorted by Nicholas Anthony. Si Huang, escorted by Zhong Chen. Austin Key Jones, escorted by Robert Wiedenman. Kofi Badu Jeremy Kawami, escorted by Mary Savin. Abby Linnell Lassiter, escorted by Brian E. Haggard.
Craig William Maynard, escorted by Michael T. Kidd. Garrett Mullenix, escorted by Michael T. Kidd. Wang Pham, escorted by Julian Ferry. Jonathan Ferris, escorted by Brian S. Fugate. Lawson Priest, escorted by Jason Norsworthy. Colby Rivas, escorted by Benjamin Runkle. Sajib Roy, escorted by Alan Mantooth. Nicholas J. Shallcross, escorted by Gregory S. Parnell. Yang Jie Wang, escorted by Yan Huang. Jessica Adak White, escorted by Alan Elstrand. Bazga Zia, escorted by Ainang Shi. Haider Bakr Salman.
Tyler Burgess.
Ellis McVoy. Sindapriya Sadasivam Kupindran.
Flynn Riley Little.
Logan Scott Quiring.
Michaela Dietz. Kenneth Buck. Matt Cole. Mary Elizabeth Day. Cammie Marie Farmer. Robert Sidney Fuller. Caitlin Garton. Carly Elizabeth Godwin. Kaylin Horde. Carla Horsfall. Alden Neal Hotz. Heather Jackson Wingo. Shadi Afrin Jisan. Michael Johnson. Kelly M. Latursky.
Benjamin Moore. Kimberly Blake Oliver. Katie Riggin. Indrani Saha. Shannon Malia Smith. Carly Diane Stringer. Jerry Allen Walzell II. Isabel Worrell.
Lydia Catherine Huck. Rogelio Garcia Fernandez. Caleb Ward Chestnut. Christina Childress. Wesley James Keys.
Sri Harini Suresh.
Nathan W. Davis. Michael Farr.
Tao Tak An Pham.
Daniel J. Frisella. Jorge Galarraga. Michael Grimmy. Boris Habamara. Jerry Wayne Harness Jr.
Wesley Roggentine. Roston Sweeting III. Jeffrey Wong.
David Gabrielle Bella. Kevin Matthew Black. Patrick J. Fine.
Samantha Patrone. Douglas Smith. Swithin Stephen. Yael Rafael N. Urbano.
Brandon Fangio.
Kayla McKeon. Corey Pierce, Bailey Stoll, Drake Zachary Vineyard,
Lucas Paul Bartman, Connor Hio,
Reese Landon Witt,
Ted Ligon Blackshear, Stephen Paul Bothy Jr., Emily Chanmanavong, Kuspu Chowdhury, Itzaria Clary, Shane Clennon, Jerry Cruz, Kennedy Parker Goins, Lauren V. Graves, Samir Ibrahim Hasnu, Lucas Shane Howell, Brett Hughes, Michael Thomas Jagger, Mark Allen Johnson, Brenton Avery Jones, Daniel Patrick Kelly, Jorge Lopez,
Taylor Malum, Greg Newton, Charles D. Oakes, Vishnavi Nagireddy, Oluyinka Joan Olusoji, Blair Padbury, Dylan Pittman, Madison Page Poole, Brock Randalls, Elliot M. Rutledge IV, Sarah Raman Sahibzada, Kushbu Sahu, Timothy Lee Thornton, Haley Van Fossen, Amara Chukwu Tasi, Jonathan White, Travis Prescott Williams,
Dean D.Q. Fields will now present the degrees for the Dale Bumpers College of Agricultural, Food, and Life Sciences.
Caleb Dalton Hutcherson, Elsbeth Hamilton, with high distinction,
Chandra J. Wiley,
Megan Abernathy, Garrett Adams, Zachary Shaw Andrews, Chandler Michael Arell, magna cum laude, honors with distinction, Christian Arnold, Walker Thomas Ashcraft, Molly B. Wagoner, Neil Scott Benson, Kelby Jade Biswell, with high distinction, Jenner William Brown, with distinction, Grayson Burt, John Andrew Calvert, with distinction, Brantley Clark, Rachel Clark. Trevor Christian Diaz. Jacob Etchison. Samuel Owens Ezel. Savannah Kate Fields. Shay Ann Fitzgerald. Seth Gadberry. Ty Matthew Garlington. Nicholas Gatty. Grant Shannon Glenn. Samantha Haley. John Harden. Gabriel Buck Henderson. Jack Lee Herman. Amelia Hetrick. Zachary Holopak. Lindsay Holloway. Carson Hopkins. Spencer Horner, with distinction. Blythe Howard. Catherine Huck. Lorena Caitlin Huff. Brandon Yotto. Colton Matthew Jones. Samantha Jones. Dylan Lake. Maddie Leach. Austin Lindquist, with high distinction. Zebediah Linebarger.
Jackson Logan McMinn. Logan Moss. Robert Pack. Justin Paul, with high distinction. Christian Nicholas Pierce. Hadley Keith Falami. Rachel Province. Catherine Redden, with distinction. Ian Riley, with distinction. Shannon Rosing, with highest distinction. Jared Allen Ruff, magna cum laude, honors with distinction. Lane Michael Shatley. Ashley Smith. Jacob E. Lee Smith. Colton Robert Smith. Riley Smith. Logan Snell. Spencer Stone. Lucas Velez Ocampo. Dean Whitmire. Garrett Williams, with distinction. Ashton Jacob Wolf, with distinction. Justin David Younts, with distinction.
Skylar Ann Alderson. Bryce Arroyos. Olivia Ashley. Alicia Amen, with distinction. Madeline Claire Bergaman. Sydney Jewel Bright. Ellie Ray Caudell, with high distinction. Maggie Sibohar, with distinction. Carly Ann Cook, with high distinction. Mackenzie Krager, with distinction. Abigail Cross. Kelsey Mariette Cubias, with distinction. Sebastian Diaz. Shannon Drake. Brooklyn Eller, with distinction. Sydney Ferris, with distinction. Katie Denise Falcons, magna cum laude, honors with distinction. Lauren Renee Freyla. Audrey Mae Friend, with high distinction. Claudia Fuller, with distinction. Nair Omarion Gaines Gist. Lizette Gonzalez, with distinction. Ashley Hill. Ashley Isaacs, with high distinction. Mackenzie Johnson, with highest distinction. Sophia Leon, with distinction. Kendall Leroux, with distinction. Gina Lohr.
Sarah Michelle McInnes. Lauren Madeline Miller. Stella Mutoni, with high distinction. Kinley Nally, with high distinction. Golda Grace Nunley, magna cum laude, honors with distinction. Logan Connor O'Hara, cum laude, honors with distinction. Brooke Pollard. Rami Ann Rice, with highest distinction. Emma Rohde, with high distinction. Samuel Tadios. Jennifer Tao, summa cum laude, honors with distinction. Piper Marie Tracy, with high distinction. Hannah Evelyn Watson. Lauren Winham, with distinction. Elizabeth Marlene Wolf. Madison Wright, with distinction.
Morgan Blaine Freeman.
Dean Kim Needy will now present the degrees for the College of Engineering.
Sarah Elizabeth Hendricks C., with highest distinction.
Riley Nadawadney. Tristan Newsom. Jackie Parakusam. Angela K. Thompson, with distinction. Adam Wilson.
Karina Arellano. Juan A. Arguijo.
Ryan Sklar.
Zane Blackwell, magna cum laude. Natalie Rocio Cedeno de Gracia, with distinction. Kayla Ann Hannes, with high distinction.
Alex Pemberton, cum laude. Abigail Rose, with highest distinction.
Saad Khalid Atta Alata. Abdulaziz Ibrahim Al-Jamia, with highest distinction. Ziad Mansour Al-Kasumi. Talal Nasser Al-Rawali. Yelizaveta Bachinska. Jacob Archer Barrows. Anna Grace Deere. Brandon Dyer, with highest distinction. Elizabeth Gomez. Mayani Hernandez Gonzalez. Carter Howie. Alex Cynthia Ineza Carangua. Tyler Konigsfeld, with high distinction.
Kada Sheets, summa cum laude. Melanie Clarice Smith. Jackson Waldrum. John Allen Zimmerman, cum laude.
Yalanis Aranda Vega. Humberto Becerra. Nicholas Matthew Boning. Antonino Francavilla. Madeline Coy Giebler.
Eve Manzi, with distinction. Antonio Ortega Perez. William Sikora. Jonathan Stonestreet. Benjamin Vaughn. Ever Villalobos. L.J. Williams.
Garibaldi Delgado. Landry Emery Ishimwe Karangwa.
Ronald Ulises Velasquez Tuñón, summa cum laude.
Fernando Areola Garcia. Kayla Boyd. Carter Buckner. Alec Burnworth. Jack Coleman Chalmers. Kim Marie Counts. Rachel Culbertson, with highest distinction. Aaron Fabian. Joshua N. Francis. Victor Halter, with high distinction. Benjamin Hudson. Scott Jackson. Wajin Jun, with high distinction. Carrie Lawrence, with distinction.
Rylan McAllister. Jackson Tyler McCauley, with distinction. Bertrand Munihuzi Kalisa. Akila Parvathanini. Jay Ryu. Luis Pinzon Escobar. Soroush Shirali. Ellis Quay Tran. Christina Trexler, summa cum laude, honors with highest distinction. Zachary Tyler, with high distinction. Yudong Wang. Noah Thomas Wayne.
Elena Aurora Cashires Caldera, with high distinction. Logan Michael Green. Curtis Hanna.
Huryordeji Horlinrewaju, with highest distinction. Willie Piggies. Ganesh Sajam. John Venker. Chad Workman, with highest distinction.
Cameron Todd Bland. Junwoo Chang. Garrett Michael Clark. Nicholas Jaco. Grayson Lee.
Jacob Pannell. Jasia Porsche. Dania Rosemarie Quintero Serrad. Suali Samudio Ortega. Tate Thornley. Xavier Deshaun Wills.
Abdul Joheb Ansari. John Bardsley. Jacob Bird. Aidan Cagg. Clay Kerrigan, with distinction. Cody Cottle.
Chaim Nguyen No, with highest distinction.
Timothy Contaveros, with high distinction. Dylan Anthony Culmer. John Tyler Davidson. Jake Daniel Dietrich. Haley Felkins. Parik Flanagan. Derek German. Lazaro J. Gonzalez. Nathan Goodwin. Harrison W. Hodges. Joshua Hoffman. John Thomas Holloman. Jesharon Horton, summa cum laude. Nicholas Jordan. Kevin Kayijuka. Maya Kadim. Garrett Kennemer. Alexander King.
Jenna Pogue. Darius Popa. Francisco Souza. Najee Ian Stubbs. Thomas Townsend, with highest distinction. Kevin Velasquez. Brandon Wallace, cum laude. Jonathan Clark Wallace.
Dean Matt Waller will now present the degrees for the Sam M. Walton College of Business.
Logan Aaron. Luis Aguilar, cum laude. Christopher Francisco Alanis. Margarita Aldape. Brandon M. Atchison. Emily Badine. Magnolia Bahena. Peter T. Bannon. Tyler Beasley. David Austin Bisciglia. Luke Anthony Blackman. Ashton Blumentroth. Lauren Bokniak. Andrew Booth. Brooke Malone Bowie. Jared Bowman. Marlon Boyle. Destiny Malone Bracey. Connor Shepard Brandon. Kayla Bray, cum laude. Katie Brown. Matt Brunner. Callie Bryant. Colton Burns. Jenna Nicole Byram. Blake Campbell. Andres Campos Arauz. Letitia Carricher. Willie Alexander Chappell Jr. Savannah Tuning. Alexis Chick. Shannon Nicole Chisholm. Cole Kristen. Cullum Clampett. John Chilton Clark. Brandon Chase Clements. Mary S. Colorado. Anna Cannell. Sidney Earl Cook III. Chandler Blake Copeland. Kobe Crimmings. Jack Cunningham. Matthew Cebulski. Kaylee Demora. Catherine Daniel. Robert de la Iglesia. Lydia Pemberton. David Thomas DeLuca. Gabrielle DeToro. Sawyer Dixon.
Abigail Rose.
Riley Catherine Dobbs. Daniel Douglas. Bailey Eaton. Brian Enos. Lakeland Farmer. Lainey Ryland Fenner. Jordan Ferdosian. Cameron M. Ferguson. Jeanette T. Ferguson. Clay Allen Fiddler. Grayson Finch. Caitlin Nicole Foster. Noah Fowler. Tyler Wilson Fowler. James Lathan Fox. Anna Catherine Frederick. Hagen Fromm. Carlos Garcia. Efrain Octavio Garcia. Israel Garcia Campos. Reese Getman. Shay Gieselman. Michelle Gifford. Kimberly Jane Girdner. Roderick Goforth. Efrain Gonzalez Pineda. Osmar Granados. Austin D. Greek. Hadley Gregg. Flavia Inés Gutierrez Franco. Conry Michael Guy. Trevor Jackson Hampton. Young Hong. William Harding. James Joseph Haas. Andrew Helsley. Vicente Hernandez. Liam Hessing. Chad Darrell Hessen. Erica Leanne Hughes. Michael Hickey. Alexander James Hickson. Philip R. Holland. Clay Holt. Gavin Homeyer. Andrew Rhea. Griffin Hunt. Howard Jacoby Hurst. Mayu Inaba. Lauren Ismert. Dylan Kainoa Eisen. Beauchamp Raymond Jansen. Sophia Bayari J. Jayla Leanne Jefferson. Brody Tate Jennings, cum laude. Elijah Johnson. Zane Johnson. Brandon Johnston. Madison C. Johnston. Abigail Grace Jolly. Blake Jones. Ryan Jones. Carson Ryan Key. Taylor Kelly. Mir Nadia Campbell Khan. John Kiefner. Jessica D. Kilgore. Bumsuk Kim. Grant King. Dylan Matthew Kurgis. Michaela Grace Kiselak. David Mitchell Kletz. Jacob Cranbuell. Angela Lammy. Seth Mackenzie Lane. Brooke Lawson. Lan An Lee. Nicholas Lee. Grant LeGros. Nathan Litweiler, cum laude. Dane Locklear. Zachary Looper. Nehemiah Nathaniel Lopez Valladares. Madeline K. Lewis. Alexander Lulf. Frank William Luman. Cale Lushbo.
Charles McGill. Luciano Mancini. Blake Martin. Zara Maxwell. Chloe Ann Mayfield. Ashlyn McCarty. Levy McCreary. Chance McCune. Brady McGinley. Allie McMurray. Allison Kathleen Meisinger, cum laude. Noelle Lauren Miller. Bradley Mills. Lorianne Miravamba Usanase. Martin Cole Morin. Rebecca Moss. Alyssa Gloria Muller. Liam Murray. Margaret Murray. Vincent Myers. Macy Netherton. Eric No. That's Cao Nguyen. Dominique Nunez. Patrick Ogbwe. Kaylin Olson. Abby Altman. Edgar Manuel Pacheco. Cameron Perro. Bhavya Patel.
McCain Martin.
Christopher Pendergraft. Ashley Nicole Peroni. Cecily Parrott. Grant Peters.
Diploma presented by Dr. Gary Peters.
Kristen Petty. Lacey Ann Pekarski. Kelly Pilkington. Bumper Pool. Daniel Poquette. Kinley Post.
Dawson Scantling.
Brooklyn Price. Nico Prokos. Dominic Morsavillo. Cole Pryor. Hunter Rainey. James Logan Reeder. Austin Reisdorf, cum laude. Christopher Remmerscheid. Logan Rich. Madeline Risky. Charles Richardson. Juan Rodriguez. Harrison Rogalski. Jade Cherie Romaine. Carly Madison Roth. Eric Salas. Jackson Sally. Daisy Angelica Sandoval. Mason Saunders. Jordan Cole Schmidt. Brooke Schultz. Corey Schultz. Kendra Lee Shelton. Seth Holland Shirey. Alexander V. Stuniuk. Simeon Stunak. Jacob Skaggs. Brennan Smith. Ian Sparks. Emily Sperry. Cesar Moradel. Grant Spruill. Joseph Stevens. Kaylin Nicole Stewart. Grant Harrison Sumner, Masako Suzuki, Weston Tate, summa cum laude. Amanda Thadanakam, Madison Thompson, Tanner James Thompson, Cesar Torres, Seth Torres, Esmeralda Torres, Nguyen Tu Tao Tran, Blake McDaniel Tyler, Eduardo Ustares, Sean Valenta, Santiago Vallejo, Jason Colton Vaught, Ruben Derek Vega, Joshua D. Wallace, Samantha Walsh, Andrew Weaver, Landon Webb, Samantha Michelle Weber, Joseph Weinsinger IV, Kiefer Weiser, Corey Whitby, Madison Whiteley, Kyle Wiggers, Ashley Christine Wilson, Adam Whitty, Mason Ross Walford, Andrew Young, Samuel Young, Jake Urachek, Cassandra Zolke,
Taylor Caudle, cum laude. Warner Fields, summa cum laude. Kiara Lozano Santiago,
Matthew Marcianti, Colby Martinez, Blaise Edward Tipton, cum laude.
That concludes the presentation of candidates.
Again, congratulations to each of our graduates. We're extremely proud of you. And finally, I also want to recognize our graduates' parents and spouses and partners and family members whose patience and support have brought you to this point. Graduates, please show your love for these very special people. There's another group of people whom I'd like to recognize, congratulate for helping you earn your degrees, and that's our outstanding faculty. I know they made a difference in your lives. They made your lives a little harder at times, but they were good people. May I ask the faculty of the University of Arkansas to stand and be recognized. Thank you. On behalf of the Arkansas Alumni Association, I congratulate you on joining the ranks of more than 156,000 living Arkansas alumni around the world. As your time as students comes to a close, your time as alumni is just beginning, and you are forever a part of the University of Arkansas. There are important opportunities as alumni I'd like for you to embrace. Stay connected to the University of Arkansas wherever you go. There are alumni chapters throughout the United States, alumni societies, and international alumni groups that offer events and programming to help you engage with each other and the university. Stay involved with this great community you joined today. Connect with the Alumni Association online or through the Arkansas Alumni app. As you leave today, pick up your alumni pin. I think you're starting to get my point. We want you to join. Finally, your name will soon be etched on Senior Walk. Congratulations, alumni. We look forward to your continued involvement with the University of Arkansas. Before I close, I would like to thank the faculty, staff, volunteers, and musicians who had a role in today's ceremony, including the University Wind Symphony, directed by Christopher Knighton, and the Schola Cantorum, directed by Dr. Stephen E. Caldwell. May I ask everyone to please stand for our alma mater and recessional march. For our faculty and graduates, please do not leave until escorted by the marshal. Again, heartfelt congratulations to our graduates. Undergraduate students, now is the time to officially move your tassels from right to left. Parents and guests, please meet your students outside the south entrance of the arena. Thank you for joining us today, and go Hog!